Good morning, everyone. This is Swapna. Today's our topic is inductive bias. So, we are completed in previous videos concept learning, finders algorithm, candidate elimination algorithm. So, after that, these are the questions will arise before going into the inductive bias. What are the questions will arise generally means what if the target concept is not contained in the hypothesis space? Can we avoid this difficulty by using the hypothesis space that includes the every possible hypothesis? How does the size of the hypothesis? How does the size of the hypothesis will influence on the number of training examples? So these are the generally fundamental questions will arise for inductive inference in general. So we examine them in the context of candidate elimination algorithm. As we'll see the conclusion, we draw from this analysis we will apply to any concept learning algorithm that outputs any hypothesis consistent with the training data. So now we are starting with the inductive bias. Today is our topic. What is inductive bias means? It is need to make the assumptions only. Experience alone doesn't allow us to make the conclusions that for unseen data instances. So on finders algorithm and candidate elimination algorithm also, candidate elimination algorithm, the both are applied on the training examples. Finders algorithm considers only the positive training examples. These will consider positive and negative, but output it will give some set of possible hypothesis which will acceptable or which is having the consistent for training data examples. Here inductive bias means we need to make the assumptions, but depending upon experience of only that we cannot make the conclusion on the unseen data instances. There are two types of biases generally: restriction and preference. Restriction is limit the hypothesis space, preference is impose ordering on hypothesis space. Next one, I biased hypothesis space. So now we are going to detail with the example also. Here we are starting with the one example. Till now whatever the example we consider, that is only we are considering here also, that is enjoying the water sports, and it is also having the 6 attributes, and it is also having some possible values for every attribute. Here for this example, to continue with that, what is the biased hypothesis and how we are getting assumptions for the unknown data. What are the hypotheses present on the hypothesis space is to consider this is only the example we are taking. See, in this example also it is containing 6 attributes and some possible values. Here we are taking the 1, 2, 3 training examples. Within that 1 and 2 are positive training examples because our target concept value is S, and the third one is the negative training examples. So go through this and generalize. First make the hypothesis which are having the most specific one with the null values. After that we are replacing with the first possible values of the first instance, and next we are considering the training examples. To make that specific hypothesis to general, we will compare with every attribute with the other attribute and making it as general. Is it clear? So here also consider the first training example: sunny, warm, normal, strong, cool, and change. This is the training example positive. After that we are considering the second training positive training example is this one. So first we are considering first attribute value sunny and cloudy, both are having the target concept value S. So to make it is generalized, we are replacing this with the question mark. Next, warm, both are having the warm, we are writing the same thing. Normal, so writing the same. Strong and strong, writing the same. Cool and cool, writing the same. Change and change, writing the same. So this is the more generalized hypothesis we got by these two training examples. So after that we are considering the third training example. It is having the target concept no. So comparing with the first attribute, training example attribute, so it is having the rainy. Already whatever the hypothesis we got, here is the question mark. That means it accepts this value also. If it is accepting this value means what is the output value, target concept value is no. These are we got the hypothesis to get the target concept value S. Whatever the hypothesis we got, it is also accepting the next possible value, training possible value, which is present on the negative training example also. That means it is not a exact one, it is not a proper one. So target concept exists in different phase. This target concept exists in different phase, that we can considering as a capital H one, including the distinction and in particular the hypothesis. So instead of writing this more generalized one, here what they are taking the two hypotheses which are representing the first training example as well as second training examples. So that is we are going to learn here. So unbiased learner here, what is the meaning of this one means how we are getting the different how many different hypotheses are there, within that how many hypotheses we are taking here. So the target concept is in the hypothesis space. Already we know hypothesis space and set of hypotheses represented with the capital H is to provide the hypothesis space capable of representing every teachable concept, that is it is capable of representing every possible subset of the instances. In general, the set of all the subsets of capital X is called the power set. So already we know capital X is a set of instances for that particular task. So all the subset of all the subsets of this set X is called the power set. For example, in the enjoying sport learning task only, for example, the size of the instance space is X of the days described by the 6 available attributes. So days is available attributes. How many different instances we will get means 96. Already we calculated this one in the previous videos, that is whenever in concept learning as such, there we calculated the how many different types of instances are possible for this type of example, which are having the 6 attributes and some possible values. Like for sky, it is having the 3 possible values. For remaining all the attributes, it is having only the 2 possible values. How many different type of instances we will get, that we are calculated in that already. So that is 96. Like that, how many different hypotheses we will get, that is calculated like this. So by using the size of power set, here we introduce the new term is the power set. What is the power set? It is the set of all the subset of instances. It is a set of all the subset of instances that we can representing with the power set. Here how we are getting the power set means there is 2 to the power of 96. How many approximately we are getting for this is 10 to the power of 28. Distinct target concepts we are getting means different distinct hypothesis we will get. Within that to get that hypothesis we are taking the conjugatives of all the attributes. So by that semantically different hypothesis, how many we will get means 973. This is one also we calculated in that concept learning as such. There also we are taking the same example, same attributes, same possible values. So we already got this how to calculate it. So that one is completed. Here also once again we are taking for that whatever the example we took. So if you are generalized the first one with this question mark, then it is accepting the negative training example values also. Instead of that we are taking here same example and instance. Here we are considering only the instance constraints. It is target concept is sky is equal to sunny or sky is equal to cloudy could then be described as like this. It is using here distinction for different positive hypotheses. So we present the 3 positive examples here, x1, x2, x3 and 2 negative examples, x4 and x5. To the learner at this point, S is the boundary of the version space, will contain the hypothesis which is just the disjunction of positive examples, because this is the most specific possible hypothesis that covers these 3 examples. See, when we are learning about the candidate elimination algorithm, within that we are getting the output as a set of hypothesis. That set of hypothesis what we can call subset of that hypothesis or set of hypothesis which we got as a output is version space. Every version space will contain the 2 boundaries, S boundary and G boundary. S boundary will generally contains the specific hypothesis. G boundary will contains the general hypothesis. Here also for this example, instead of writing the in that candidate elimination algorithm and in the version space S boundary we got the only the one hypothesis, and generally G boundaries we will get the more than one hypothesis. So here, instead of that, for this inductive bias, and to get that, to assume the target concept value for the unseen instances, here what is the procedure we are continuing? For this specific boundary also we are taking the more than one hypothesis, and that are connected with one hypothesis with the another hypothesis with the disjunction relation, and it represents positive examples, as well as same thing it represents, like as in a candidate elimination algorithm. Second, to represent the negative examples, it is using the G boundary only. Similarly, G boundary will consist of the hypothesis that rules out only the observed negative examples. Here also it is using the same disjunction relation between the two or more negative examples. And the problem here is that this is very expressive hypothesis representation. S boundary will always be simply the disjunction of observed positive examples, and while the G boundary will always be represents the negated disjunction of observed negative examples. Why they are using the negation notation to represent this one is to represent these are the negative examples, like this. Here see, version space already we know VS is representation, is a notation they are using to represent the version space. VS, after presenting the three positive instances x1, x2, x3 and two negative instances, is like this. S boundary is x1 disjunction x2, x3, and G boundary is negation of x4 disjunction x5, all the subsets including x1, x2, x3 and not including the x4 and x5. That is we are getting as a version space. We can also classify precisely examples already seen. Take the major word, that we can say it is classified as a positive and negative. Positive hypothesis is H, and negation H classifies the negative hypothesis. So this is about this topic. And the futility of bias-free learning is a fundamental property of inductive inferences. A learner that makes no priori assumptions regarding the identity of the target concept has a no rational bias for classifying the unseen instances. It is not taking the no priori assumptions. The key idea we wish to capture here is the policy by which the learner generalizes beyond the observed training data to infer the classification of instances. What is the key idea means? The learner generalizes the observed training data, generalizes the observed training data to get that classification of new instances. Therefore, consider the general setting in which the arbitrary learning algorithm is H. H is provided the arbitrary set of training data. We said training data is represented with a capital D, and this is represented, every training example is represented with the order pair of x of C of x. Already we know x is the instance, C of x is the target concept value. After training, L is asked to classify the new instance. Once we gave some training examples, which is the set represented with the capital D. After the training, now learning algorithm need to classify the new instance which is given to that one. So that is represented like this: L of xi comma d. It denotes the classification, positive or negative. So depending upon the previous training, depending upon that experience, it denotes the classification. The classification may be the positive or negative. That L assigns to xi after learning from the training data. We can describe that inductive inference step performed by L as follows, as where the notation indicates here. This type of notation they are using. What is the notation indicates here? This is the notation y vertical line and horizontal line. This one indicates J is inductively inferred by Y. This is the representation. And after the inductive bias, here learning algorithm is represented with the capital L, and to training example is represented with the order pair of x comma C of x. If you are given the new instance to the list, this learning algorithm to classify, that is represented with the L x of I comma capital D. L is the learning algorithm, x of I is the new instance given to classify, capital D is represents the training examples. That already given here. This is about this. Next, we define the inductive bias here. Actually, we are giving the definition of here and how it represents. We define the inductive bias of L to be the set of assumptions such that for all new instances, it is not breaking the pre-assumption. Once the new instance is given to that one, L be the set of assumptions. That assumptions are represented here with the capital B, such that for all the new instances, what are the assumptions assuming for the new instances is represented with the capital B. Capital D is already we know training example, and whatever the new instance we are giving, that is represented with the xi. So after that, whatever to go classify that one, whatever the notation we are using, same thing here. First term, like previously we said, y and this symbol notation after that z, that we said na, here this type of notation y and z, it indicates that z follows the deductively from y, that is z is provable by from y. Here also y here is b conjunction d conjunction x of I, and it follows deductively from L of xi comma d. D here is training examples. Is that clear? And thus we define inductive bias of a learner as a set of additional assumptions be sufficient to justify its inductive inference as deductive inferences. What is deductive reasoning and inductive reasoning means, here we are specifying next with the definition and notation. First, once again we are defining here inductive bias. After that, how we are representing the notations also here exactly we gave. So given is a concept learning algorithm L for a set of instances capital X. A concept C is defined over the X. Whatever the target concept where is represented with the C over the all the set of instances. A set of training examples are represented with the DC here, and these are the ordered pairs x comma C of X. X is the instance and C of X is the target value of every instance. And L xi comma DC here, no, instead of D here they are representing DC. Outcome of classification of xi after learning the inductive inference. Inductive inference is represented like this notation. Inductive inference is represented like this notation. Once again, DC conjunction with the xi, training examples and new instances. Inductive inference of L of xi comma DC. What is L of xi comma DC means? It is the output classification for this new instance over the training examples. This inductive bias is defined as a minimal set of assumptions, that is capital B, such that for that detection here for all new instances belong to the capital X, and whatever the assumptions, set of assumptions or conjunction of training examples over the new instances is inductive inference of output. Of new instance with the learning of training examples. Here we are using the two different terms, inductive and deductive reasoning. That way we can specify it as a deductive one. So what is inductive and what is deductive means, here I am giving with the comparison of within this table. Inductive reasoning is every time we are moving from specific to general, logically true or may not be realistically true. For example purpose, to understand how we are moving from specific to general with this three statements, we can get the conclusion and we can get the idea. First statement is mango is fruits. Second statement is the box is full of fruits. After that, whatever conclusion we are getting, inductive type of inference means the box is full of mangoes. This is the general statement. It represents these two. Like that, deductive reasoning is opposite to this one. We are making the from general to specific statement. It is logically true and realistically also true. For this example is all mangoes are fruits. All fruits are generally having the seeds. So mangoes will also have the seeds. So we are moving from general to specific. That is deductive reasoning. Inductive reasoning is from specific to general. That we can call as the inductive reasoning. So here we are representing the inductive reasoning and deductive reasoning. So after that, here we are giving the inductive system. For inductive system, that is moving from specific to general. We will give the training examples and new instances to the inductive system. Here by candidate elimination algorithm using the hypothesis space, the classification of new instance we will get or we don't get. That is the inductive system. Next one is like this. Equivalent deductive system is for this training examples and new instances and some assumptions which will contains the H contains the target concept with inductive bias made explicit. That is given to the theorem program. Then we will get the output classification of new instance or don't know, or we don't know what the results. And what is the advantages of mainly inductive biases? One advantages of weaving the inductive inference systems in terms of their inductive bias is that it provides the non-procedural means of characterizing their policy for generalizing beyond the observed data. What is second advantage means it allows the comparison of different learners according to the strength of the inductive bias they employ. For example, we are giving the here 3 learning algorithms. In that we already know candidate elimination algorithm and find is. And what is rote learner means here learning corresponds to the simply to storing of each observed training example in memory. Subsequent instances are classified by looking them in memory. If the any instance is found in memory, the stored classification is written. If the new instance if you are given is if the system refuses to classify that one. That means rote learner means whatever the training examples you are giving, it stores in the memory, and whenever you are giving the new question to that one, it will compare with that one. If it is there is, it won't analyze that one. If there is output is there, result is there, and automatically it gives as a result. Otherwise it won't give. It simply reflects the new instances which is not present in that memory. Next one is the candidate elimination. Candidate elimination algorithm. New instances are classified only in the case where all the members of current version space agree on the classification. Otherwise, the system refuses to classify the new instances. In this candidate elimination algorithm also, we saw that one. It will take the positive training examples as well as the negative training examples, and it compares according to that experience if it is ready to classify, if it is acceptable or consistent, then only it will give the classification. Otherwise, it won't give. Find is. This algorithm described earlier finds the most specific hypothesis consistent with the training examples. If it then uses the hypothesis to classify the new instances also. Once again, I gave the 3 algorithms in the table format. It finds the most suspect, it finds the set of all the hypothesis consist, it gives the examples for the given data only. That means it doesn't have the no bias, it doesn't have the any assumptions, and it won't accept the new instances which is not present in the memory. And stronger inductive bias means depending upon the previous experience, it will try to give the output for the new instance. And here it definitely gives the output if it is a related to the positive training example which is having the most specific. So it is having the strongest inductive bias. It is strongest inductive bias, and candidate elimination algorithm is stronger inductive bias, and rote learner is no bias. Rote learner has no inductive bias, candidate eliminator has the stronger inductive bias, find this algorithm has an even stronger inductive bias. So this is about this class. Some inductive biases corresponding to the categorical assumptions that completely rule out the certain concepts, such as the bias. The hypothesis space H includes the target concept. So hypothesis space generally contains the target concept. It gives that complete assumption. And other inductive bias merely rank order the hypothesis by stating the preferences, such as more specific hypothesis are preferred over more general hypothesis. Here it is giving the one more one. hypothesis generally having the preferences by naming that more specific hypothesis or more general hypothesis. So these are the information about the inductive bias. By this I am closing this class. Thank you very much.